for those who have been struggling with their mental health and have considered therapy, then what I'm about to share, my testimony, may support you in that decision and also give you comfort in realizing that you're not alone. Hey there, I just wanted to come in with a check-in. I am going to actually be a little MIA. I've told myself that I need a social media break, and I just wanted to leave y'all with this to let you know the headspace that I'm in as I'm going into this detox. So let me just say, adulting, we all know, so ghetto, right? It's deeper than it just being ghetto, though. It really is challenging. And if you have underlying mental health issues and undiagnosed disorders, if you will, such as ADHD, anxiety, depression, bipolar, OCD, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of things, even autism, because it is a spectrum. They can make doing life or adulting far more difficult than it should or could be. And I was speaking to my therapist about this yesterday. When someone says, "Oh, he got OCD," or "she got OCD," it's kind of obvious when someone has OCD because they're very anal, they're very organized, and this has to be in a certain way. You can see OCD. ADHD in women in particular, and for myself, I'm speaking, personally, it looks like other things. So it's hard to pinpoint that ADHD is the root of it all. Just to list a few of my symptoms, and I'll put some more on the screen because I'm sure I won't be able to run down the list of them. I am extremely high strung. I have low patience. I can be very irritable, mood swings here and there, everywhere. I'm controlling, anxiety, hard to get the energy to start tasks, hard to see tasks all the way through, on and on and on. And those last things, as far as task management and organization, those are more common of what we're used to seeing when it comes to not being able to focus with ADHD. But they don't speak about the emotional dysregulation, which speaks on to the irritability and my moods. And it can be challenging to be around someone who demonstrates, those things. Hell, it's hard to be around my own self sometimes, just to be completely transparent. And so what I've learned thus far with studying ADHD now is that for women, generally, life changes are what showcase and really tell us that there's something bigger than just lack of focus. So for me, motherhood and postpartum, put a red flag up for me because I just could not cope anymore. So one last component of my personal ADHD, because it looks different for everybody, is that I also speak very fast. I can be all over the place. It's really hard for me to write papers. I actually failed English 110 because my final paper I just did not write because I couldn't. I literally just could not get my thoughts together to write it. And so that is all of the many ways and many, many more that I knew and realized that I had ADHD. Now, let me preface all of this by saying throughout this whole journey, mentally, I have had phenomenal moments. I have excelled. I have achieved. I have, been productive. I have reached goals. However, it is a constant struggle to keep on coming back to a routine and keep on showing up to accomplish these things. It's always an uphill battle, and I put a lot of pressure on myself because I do want to reach these goals. So let me just say that before I go any further. There is also a component of ADHD that eats at your self-esteem. So I would have never considered myself a low self-esteem person. I feel very beautiful. I can get done up. I am comfortable in my skin and how I look. However, self-esteem is bigger than just appearance. So again, when I speak about the pressure that I was putting on myself, I would beat myself down, or I wouldn't feel good about the fact that I wasn't showing up how I wanted to show up. So now let's talk about the journey to understanding it, working on it, not necessarily healing it, but healing in general. Like all the chaos that has transpired because of my, the way my brain works, healing from all of that I've put on myself, if that makes sense. So I shared also that at the 6-month mark, I really became burnt out. 6 months postpartum, I didn't know if I was coming or going. I was a hot mess. Like, I literally was just taking care of the kids. And I know a lot of moms can relate to that. So at that point, I decided to go into therapy. And from there, it took about 6 months to get the referrals to get tested for ADHD, and then, get to the prescription or the medication portion of it all. And so here I am now, 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks of having medication. And this week has been really good. Now, I would have really good weeks prior to the medication also, but what I will say for me in particular is that I am able to carry my load easier. My load has always been my load. It's always been heavy, and I knew that no one else was going to do it if I didn't do it. So I did it because I knew I had to. However, the load is so much easier to tackle. So I call it my mountain. I'm able to chip away at that mountain, and that mountain doesn't exhaust me the same way. So I'm not overwhelmed. My dosage that I'm currently on, I do feel like I could use just a small increase in my dosage because I feel like it's barely there. Like, I can kind of tell it's working, but you know what I mean? So I do feel like it was a nice beginner dose, and I do feel the benefits of it all. However, I think that it's not drastic enough. So, when I meet with my psychiatrist again, I think in another week and a half, I'll discuss that with her, and we'll, figure out how to move forward, whether or not I even need to, if this is the right medication for me, or if I need to just increase it, or whatever the case may be. I hope this wasn't too all over the place. That's kind of how my brain works. So the one major thing that my aunt did leave with me as far as going into the medication route is that medication is not a cure-all. It doesn't fix anything. You still have to show up. You still have to be present. You still have to try. And the only thing that I am seeing now is that this particular medication for just this one component of my mental health is making it easier, less of a struggle, less of a fight to show up. And just that freedom is allowing me to do what I gotta do. I hope that makes sense. But I just wanted to share that really quickly. I am going to be seeing y'all in a few. My birthday is on the 7th of next month, and 3, 7, they always have been very meaningful numbers to me. So I'll be turning 33, and I want to celebrate myself and my growth and my journey and my mental health and my motherhood, and just the level of where I'm at and being a woman. I want to celebrate it in a very meaningful way, for lack of better words. if I could put a word to it, or if I could label what I'm gifting myself, it is kind of like a peace of mind. I'm going to be removing the pressure that I have put on myself. You know, I'm going to be forgiving myself. I'm going to be I'm just going to let go and allow myself to move into this new space and just be content. You know, it's hard to explain, but I've always desired to be a high achiever. However, my brain prevents that from being easy for me. So I'm literally fighting against, like my goals and my aspirations and the person I want to be goes against how my brain works. And so I've never really just been okay with just, existing. I feel like I've gotten to a point in my life where I deserve to just enjoy. You know what I mean? Business runs by itself. I show up to work. My kids, they'll be going off to school eventually. So let me, cherish these last, 3-4 years before they go off to school. Like that's what I want to gift myself going into 33. So I will be detoxing from social media as a part of it. I have so many things that I want to work on, but also so many things that I'm okay with not working on. That's where I'm just at. I'm okay with just maintaining, and that's new for me. So if I get some beautiful product to push out afterwards, I'll be happy. If I, reach some goals while I'm gone, I will be happy. But if I am just maintaining and consistent and happy on a steady, path, I'm also okay with that. If you have made it to this point, I love you, and I hope that you know that you're not alone in whatever you may be feeling, and that your mental health allows you to do all things. So if you do not take care of that, then it literally all falls apart. So I just encourage you to go and do those things you said that you were going to do in regards to your mental health, whether it's, read a book, journal some more, meditate, take a walk, find a therapist, be open to medication. All right. I hope y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all in the future.